Are you having a hard time finding a good way to search for your transportation options during your trip to Japan? Well, don't waste more time searching. I will show you the perfect tool, and it's not Google Maps. Let's go! This is Japan Travel by Navitime. It's a useful website, especially when looking for the best transportation options for your itinerary. You can access the website by typing the URL on the search bar. I will also put a link in the description. With Japan Travel by Navitime, you can explore several articles about Japan, search for routes, plan your itinerary, and even book flights, trains, or activities. Today, we are going to focus on route search. I see lots of people struggling with the same questions. What is the best way to get from A to B? What is the cheapest option? Can my pass be used for this route? Well, Japan Travel by Navitime can answer all that for you, and it is pretty simple to use. Now let's see how it works. To start searching for a route, click on Route on the top of the page. In this page, you'll see the route finder, but also a list of the most searched routes. This can save you some time since you just have to select the route you want, instead of entering all the fields manually. As you can see, you have the common routes for Narita, Tokyo, Kyoto, Kansai Airport, and Osaka, and the generally required time for each. Let's select the route from Tokyo Station to Kyoto Station to see what are the transportation options available, as well as all the details about each one. For this, you just have to click on the route button at the end of the desired route. The page will load with a map of your route, as well as 5 transportation options for the selected route. For this specific route, it seems that all the best results are pretty much the same, with a small difference in the travel time. Since we just selected a common route, the results are shown for the current time in Japan, but it is possible to select a specific date and time. We'll see that a little later on this video. Now, let's check one of the options to see the details. For a long-distance route like this, the Shinkansen will certainly be the best option, but that's not always the case. Here we can see that this route uses the Nozomi Shinkansen that is leaving to Hakata on platform 18. The trip costs 13,320 yen, where 8,360 yen is the base fare and 4,960 yen is the non-reserved seat. You can also use the reserved seat for 5,610 yen or the green car seat for 10,480 yen. Another useful information you can get is the timetable for this route. It can be useful to know how frequent the trains are in case you missed the one you wanted. Here, you have the 3 Shinkansen available for this route and the required time travel. Although they're all bullet trains, the time required for the trip is different because they don't stop at the same stations. If you scroll down, you have all the timetable for the selected day, and you can easily know which Shinkansen leaves at a specific time, how long it takes, and the last stop. You can even check the number of stops for each Shinkansen. I find this information really useful to avoid getting lost in Japan. Let's check the Nozomi Shinkansen first. As you can see, the Nozomi Shinkansen only stops at a few stations between Tokyo and Kyoto. This makes it the fastest Shinkansen for this route. Now, let's check the Hikari Shinkansen. It takes around 30 minutes more than the Nozomi because it has a few more stops along the way. Finally, let's check the Kodama Shinkansen. This is the slowest Shinkansen for this route because it stops at all the stations. If you're looking at the most effective way to travel, you should pick the Nozomi or the Hikari Shinkansen when possible. But you might be tempted to try the Hello Kitty Shinkansen, which is a Kodama Shinkansen. Did you notice this timetable button? Here you can get the timetable for the Shinkansen running in this line. Lots of people struggle to find the train's timetables, but with this tool, you have everything you need. In this first column, you have the hours. In the second column, you have the minutes, which Shinkansen leaves at that specific time, the destination, and even the platform number on Tokyo's station. This makes things really simple when navigating the train station. You can also see that the Nozomi is the most frequent Shinkansen, while Hikari and Kodama have fewer departures during the day. Although some Shinkansen might leave at the same time each hour, that's not always the case, So make sure you check the timetable to understand your next option in case you miss the first train. Now let's see how to search for a specific route for our trip. Click on Route on the top of the page. To search for a route, you have to enter the departure and the destination. Don't worry, when you start typing the name, the tool will show the available options with that name, and you can find the right station. When typing Narita, I get several options, but I want the most common, which is the airport terminal. There are a lot of flights arriving to terminals 2 and 3, so let's use this one. Now let's pick a destination. As most people want to visit Tokyo, let's choose a station in Tokyo. To make it simple, I'll use the first one, Tokyo Station, but you have several others. You can choose to have instructions for transit and walk, or for driving, but the point of this tool is to help you use public transportation, so let's keep the transit and walk option. This option here allows to select the date and time of travel. When creating your custom itinerary, it's better to plan your transportation options using the real date and time to have the most accurate information. But make sure you allow enough time for transportation between two places if you ever miss the train you intended to use. These options here allow you to select the departure time, but you can change to the arrival time. This is extremely useful when you don't know exactly when to leave, but you need to be in a certain place at a certain time because you booked an activity, for example. You can also choose the first train of the day or the last one. Very useful for day trips when you want to make the most of your day. But for this tutorial, we'll keep it simple and just use the departure time. Next, we have the customize options. Even if it's possible to search using the default options, sometimes it might be convenient to change them to best suit your needs. For instance, you might want to restrict the means of transportation to those you really want to use. By default, this tool shows you the best and the fastest routes, but you might want to have the cheapest routes first when traveling on a budget, or the routes with less transfers if you're afraid of getting lost. To remove or add a means of transportation, you just have to tick the box you want. For this tutorial, we'll leave all the boxes, but now you know how to adjust your search. In the next option, you can choose to add a transportation pass to customize your search. If you click on Tourist Pass, you have a list of the available passes in Japan for tourists. You just have to tick the boxes you want to search for the best routes using the passes you have. In the early stages of your planning, I suggest you don't use the passes. This way, you will always get the best route possible. Now let's see what routes this tool proposes for our search by clicking the search button. First, we have a map with the route. This allows to have a visual idea of the distance between the starting point, in blue, and the destination, in red. On the left, we have 5 transportation options for the date and time we selected. As you can see, the first 2 are the fastest, but also more expensive than the next 2. The second option doesn't have any transfers. It's a little faster, but it is slightly more expensive than the first one. You might wonder why there are 2 prices for each option. Well, the first price is the regular price of a ticket, while the second one is the price you pay when using an IC card like Suica, for example. Let's take a closer look at each option. Here, you have all the details. You have the train name and number, where it's headed, the platform number, the base fare price plus the reserved seat price. You can see that you have to transfer to the Yamanote line at Nippuri Station, and you also have all the details for the train in the Yamanote line. You can even check the timetable for each train to see how frequent they are. Remember that we had different seat options for the route from Tokyo to Kyoto? Here, we only have the reserved seat option, which means that this train only has reserved seats, and you can't board the train if you didn't reserve your seat. When you transfer to the Yamanote line, there aren't any seat options. This means that you can use this train as long as you manage to get in, even if you have to stand all the way to your destination. The second transportation option is the Narita Express. This is the fastest and easiest way to get to Tokyo from Narita Airport because there aren't any transfers. However, it is a little expensive, especially when traveling with family members. Some people prefer to use the fastest options, while others prefer the cheapest ones. Just choose the one that fits your traveling needs. Notice that Narita Express doesn't have the non-reserved seat option, so you have to book your seat before boarding the train. You can choose between the regular seat or the green car seat, which is the equivalent of a first class. Usually, you can book your seats online or at the train station. The next means of transportation is the longest, but also the cheapest, and this is generally how it works. Once again, we can check the transportation details to see what we can expect. You can see that we will be using rapid trains, not express ones, and we even have to walk for a few minutes to transfer to a different line. This option can be easily overwhelming for some of you, even if it has the lowest price. Sometimes it is better to pay a little more and have a more convenient option. For me, option number 4 is the one that manages to balance cost and convenience for this route. It costs barely more than the cheapest option. It takes the same time, but it has no transfers because, even if we must change lines along the way, we stay on the same train. This is very convenient and avoids getting lost in transfers. The first time you use public transportation in Japan, you want to make sure it is the simplest option, so you can get used to it. The last transportation option is usually the car or taxi option. It is fast, but highly expensive. You should only use this if you are visiting areas that aren't easily accessible using public transportation, or if you missed the last train of the day. Now let's see how the tourist pass option can change the results for this route. We are going to make a new search, but this time we will select a pass. Click on the tourist pass option and open the list of the passes available. You can either scroll down to find the pass you want, or you can type the name of the pass on the search bar. For example, if we type rail on the search bar, we get all the passes that have rail on the name. Same thing if we type Tokyo, we get all the passes for Tokyo. If you're not an expert in Japan passes, just have a look at the whole list and do a little research about each one. You can also search for routes selecting a pass someone recommended to you and see how it works for your itinerary. For this tutorial, we will use the Tokyo Wide Pass, but remember to always search the route with and without the pass to compare the options. Once you've selected the pass, click on the search button again to update the results. You can see that now there are only 2 results. Why? Because the tool gives the best option to use your pass, which is also the fastest. Since the price is included in your pass, there's no point in showing the cheaper options. The second option is the car or taxi option, and it is always present by default in the results. Notice that the name of the selected pass appears on the first option to let you know that this route is covered by your pass. When looking at this route details, we see that best option using this pass is the Narita Express that goes directly from Narita's airport to Tokyo Station. Now you know that if you are planning on buying the Tokyo Wide Pass, you can use it on the Narita Express and get to Tokyo in the fastest and convenient way possible. If you like the information on this video and it helps you feel less overwhelmed about Japan public transportation, please let me know in the comments below. Help me share this information with all the passionate travelers like you by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel for more helpful information. This really means a lot to me and lets me know that you want more videos about useful information for your trip. See you on the next video.